Our old friend Herb Haygood decided to join the show this morning. I appreciate your time, Herb.
Yep, third time's a charm.
Third time is the charm. All right, so I'm going through these stats. Sarasota, Manatee County All-Star Game MVP while you were in high school.
Yeah, who are
114 yards on 10 carries in that game right there. But I got a chance to go on YouTube and see a tape. You were so you started out as receiver for your high school or running back.
receiver?
You started out as receiver, but then how did the decision come about for you to change to running back?
My sophomore year, doing it on the scout team, and then the last three games of my sophomore season, I moved to running back. So I had shoot 7 touchdowns in 3 games and like close to 500 yards. So
Coming into the next season, they said we got to get him back there.
yeah, down south we have spring football, and then we played Riverview and I want to say Southeast, and beat both those teams. Um, then it was like, yeah, we got some special. So
So when you switched from receiver to running back, was that something that you liked or did not like?
I liked it. I mean, they couldn't tackle him in practice. We know we had a really good defense. Um, and then, my freshman and sophomore year, even though I played varsity, we were 3-7 those 2 years. And then went 11-2 and 10-3 my junior and senior year.
Did you, now one thing that I did notice, you took a lot of hits in those games. Not clean big hits, but I mean, there's a lot of banging going on. Did you ever, anytime when you were in high school before you got to Michigan State, ever get an injury, any kind of injury?
Yeah, separated shoulders, tore my ACL.
What
Yeah,
year?
so
What year did you tear your ACL?
my senior year.
So that did not hurt your recruiting at all?
I tore it after my second game in high school, and I didn't know it. Um, Everyone told me I hyperextended my knee, and I went on, of course, I went on my visit and all that to different schools, and I kept saying, hey, my knee been bothering me. And, Ohio State, Michigan State, they checked and said, hey, you got a torn ACL. And at the time, I was playing basketball.
For you, so did you play? You played football and basketball for your high school,
Yeah, and track.
and ran track. What was your specialty in track?
Of course, 100.
100. Yeah. So okay, so you finish up your career, and I wanted you to tell this story because this is kind of important. So you got offers from all the schools, Ohio State being one of them, and you end up choosing, which turns out to be the greatest university in the Western Hemisphere, Michigan State. But how do you come to that decision, Herb?
Well, one of the biggest reasons was Am Campbell and Luke Benson. Both came to Michigan State before me, and they had great experiences. And Coach Saban was here at the time, and Ty Grantham never lied to me through the process. To be quite honest with you, they were really, you know, real with me. Um, it was going to be a challenge coming in, but wanted to accept that challenge and go from there.
You did not know at the time, obviously, that Nick Saban would turn into a legend, but you knew that there was something different about him than other coaches.
Oh yeah, definitely. Um, he was the only coach that came in. I wouldn't say the only coach. He told me to give me an opportunity to play running back because I still think I'm a better running back than receiver. Um, and he didn't lie. Even if I was there only there for a week, um, he didn't lie. He gave me an opportunity, and with my weight, it was an easy transition to go outside.
You're obviously you say that you ran the 100. You're fast. That's your thing. What did you do? You remember what you got timed in the 40 in your fastest time ever?
4.28.
4.28.40. So you're a burner, and all those hits in high school. When you get to Michigan State, it's a lot more. You would have to say that it's a lot more physical than the football that you were used to at that point, or not.
Well, I would say it wasn't the running part. I was fine with that. I was just picking up blitz and all that stuff. I couldn't cut guys. We had at the time we had Mike Austin, T.J. Turner. Um, we had some big linebackers, at the time. And then in the conference, LeVar Arrington, Andy Kessler, I mean, those are some big guys. So it was just smart to go outside and use my speed that way.
Now, and one thing I also noticed on that tape that you that I saw on YouTube, you were running back kicks in high school too.
Yeah.
You have a real gift, and you turn out. So you come to Michigan State, and you become a first team All American. How did you find out that you're a first? That is a distinct honor that not many people ever get to, and you were a first team All American. How did you find out about that?
Well, of course, Walter Kemp, gave us a call, as well as Home Depot. It was a bunch of people that I actually found out through our coaches. Coach Williams was their head coach at the time, and Coach Treadwell, so they let me know that I was getting that honor.
You, Biggie Munn, you're voted Biggie Munn most inspiration. You're the 2001 Offensive Player of the Year for Michigan State. A lot of people are going to remember that touchdown against Notre Dame because it was a game-ending critical against a rival. It was a big play, and that's why a lot of people are always going to remember Herb Haygood's the one that broke the long touchdown. But you had a lot of big plays while you were at Michigan State, and the 2001 you went for 100-yard, two kickoff returns your senior year. One of them still stands as the longest kickoff return in the history of Michigan State. Do you remember those plays at all?
I do remember those plays, and those actually back-to-back.
Back-to-back games. One was Northwestern?
Northwestern was the first one, then Iowa. And then we went out to Minnesota, and they started, after that game, they really started kicking away from me.
So you get out on the field, and you already know you're not even going to get to touch the ball on kick returns.
Yeah, which was good for our team, though. Yeah.
Set you up in good. You had, so during the course of your time at Michigan State.
Hey, just to touch on that again, though.
Yes.
On that kickoff unit, we had guys that wanted to be on there and took pride in being on our special teams. So when there was guys that was pretty much half-assing.
Yeah.
Guys on that team, guys on our special teams unit would kick people off and say, you know what, you don't deserve to be on this team. So it wasn't just myself. I had great people with me. Lord John Flowers back deep with me, who was also a co-captain. But we have people that took pride in just being a part of the team and not just happy to be on the team.
Your teammates voted you a captain your senior year as well. Your 2001 season, that was your senior year at Michigan State, correct?
Correct.
You had as good of a senior year as anybody ever in the history of Michigan State. You, like I said, you're a first-team All-American. Biggie Munn, most inspirational. You run 2 kickoffs back. You're a captain of the Michigan State football team. And in all of the years that Michigan State's been playing, you have as decorated a resume as anybody. When you think back to your time at Michigan State, do you feel like, man, this was the greatest time of my life? I know family and everything, but was that really a special time for you?
It was, because growing up, even though I had a great childhood and everything, I had to pretty much be on my own and learn how to become a man. And I think Michigan State helped me do that.
Good coaching, good people, good. You had a lot of good teammates too. So you wrap up your career at Michigan State with one memorable game was the Gator Bowl in 1999, or what was no, that wasn't the Gator. Florida Citrus.
Citrus Bowl.
Florida Citrus against Florida.
Yeah.
That was a big game. You guys, that whole 1999 season, it was as exciting a year because if you remember the 97 season, Michigan State got kind of pushed around on their home field by Charlie Woodson and those guys down south. And then for you guys to come back the next time you play them, from the fans' perspective, it was like a whole new team.
Yeah, it was. But that 99 team, I think I actually still may have the kickoff return record, for that game as well. But yeah, our team, man, was awesome. We knew that we let 98 kind trying to get away from us, and went back to the basics. Went back to the, like people say, grind time. When no one's looking. We had a really good team. Two stumbles in there against Purdue and Wisconsin. But our defensive line, I want to say that year, least on that team, there's probably 40 to 50 NFL players from my time at Michigan State to when I left.
And one of those games that you spoke of in the 1999 season was Drew Brees and Purdue.
Yeah.
So a Hall of Fame type quarterback it took to beat you guys in that. But speaking of Hall of Fame, I really looked back at the coaches that you've had, and this is going all the way back to when you were in high school. Tell me about your the Ed Howell. Tell me about him.
Coach Howell, actually, he was more of a mentor, father figure. He recently passed away in the last year. Has touched so many people. Coach was there when no one else was. He'll be the last one at the field, always picking you up. Great man.
And so you leave him, who is you considered like a father figure to you, and you leave and come almost 3,000 miles away up to Michigan State. You grew up in Florida. You're not used to this up here, and you need somebody who can, listen and be firm and fair and all that. And you end up with arguably the greatest college football coach who's ever coached at any college at any time in Nick Saban. How was that relationship with Coach Saban?
My relationship with it is it's great with Coach Saban. First of all, he taught us things that most people wouldn't teach you. He's definitely been a guy that's been there for. He's there for his players. Someone that we definitely look up to.
Did he spend?
I still talk to him today.
Does he spend time with the offense and defense, or just defense when he was there?
Both.
He was total hands on.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you spend your time at Michigan State with Coach Saban and then Coach Williams, and then you leave for the NFL, and you're drafted by the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
And your first head coach, when you get paid to play in the National Football League, is Mike Shanahan. Now, how is that going from Coach Saban to Coach Shanahan?
I think it was easy for me because a lot of people that never played for Coach Saban don't know him, don't know that he truly cares about his players. And I would say that's the same for Coach Shanahan. And it was really, with Coach Saban, he taught us there's no gray area. You either went to class or you didn't. You either jumped off sides or you didn't. So it was easy to go from his program into the league because we were prepared for that to do our job, as people would say now. As long as you're doing what you need to do to improve each day, you'll have opportunity to become better. And touch on the base as you touched on in a minute, just about the recruiting process. One of the things that stuck out with Coach Saban was he told me, hey, I'm always going to be looking to replace you. And a lot of people will be like, I'm not playing for this guy because they're scared of competition. But he then broke it down by, in high school, there's always new freshman class. College, there's always new recruiting class. And the pros, there's always new drafts. So if you're not doing everything you can on and off the field, someone would come in and replace you. So that's always stuck with me. And I even, tie that into my recruiting as a coach right now as well.
So during the course of a normal week at Michigan State, let's say Monday through Friday, how often did you guys practice out on the field, full pads?
It would be 3 days a week for the most part, because you're only allowed 20 hours a week. So you got to find time. When I say 3 days a week, it's really 2 days in full pads.
2 days in full pads. And are you going over the game plan for that team that week?
Yeah, we would. So, I know things are different now, but when I play on Monday morning, we would come in Sunday and do what we call a run to find out if anybody had any injuries, and then we would lift. Monday morning, which Sunday was a volunteer